Just saying we're idiots and forest fires are dumb. Hey guys, this is Alexandra. Welcome to Take It Before You Kick It, and this is an adventure podcast that talks about everything that you need to do on your bucket list and also some hilarious travel stories. Today I have with me Pam. This is my mother who travels full-time with me in an RV, and we have some hilarious travel stories. Well, okay, maybe they're not so hilarious this time, but they deserve to be talked about nonetheless. Let's just get started with the crazy 24 hours that we just had living in an RV. It's really funny because when you see RV living, you know, it's very glamorized. It's very, oh my gosh, look, we're surrounded by mountains. And that's 100% what it is, for sure. However, there are some times, like the last 24 hours, which it was just a constant struggle from start to finish. So let's get started talking about it and what happened. So starting off, we got a recommendation to go to St. Elmo, which is about, 45 minutes outside of Buena Vista. And
Buena Vista.
Buena Vista. I think you're wrong. That doesn't sound right to me. I know the locals are like, oh, it's Buny. But how in the world? I'm a Colorado local, and that sounds weird to me. So I guess, yeah, according to the store owner, I've heard Buena, I've heard Buna, and we've heard Buny. So if you are from however you pronounce it, please let us know, because we have been having a debate about it for a while now. So anyway, we were staying right in between Twin Lakes, and I'm just gonna say Buena Vista. That's how I would say it. We were right outside of there, and we decided to go to St. Elmo, just very spontaneously. I did a little mermaid shoot. I filmed a yoga class up at these amazing hikes called I think it was the Midland Hill. It was amazing views of the Arkansas River. And so we went a little hiking, we did some yoga, we mermaided around for a bit. She was my photographer. And then we got back to the RV. We were like, oh yeah, let's go to St. Elmo, which is a historical ghost town. And it is one of the most preserved ghost towns in the West. Yeah, there was 43 preserved buildings
that have changed very little from their birth.
Yeah, and it was beautiful there.
The drive was amazing.
Yeah, talk about your experience with St. Elmo.
Oh my gosh, I loved it. It was kind of a surprise recommendation from mom and sister. And they said they just loved it. They like historical towns anyway. We like the ghost part. But the drive up was mountains and aspen, and you've got this raging river next to you. The drive was fantastic. Be really great in the fall. Yeah. The Cascade Falls, which we had to stop and just experience.
Well, that was crazy too, because it was late June. So because it was late June, all the water runoff was there.
It was really high.
It was really high. Those were some crazy rapids for sure.
You need to go check out the video because they're amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. And there was also chipmunks that you could feed.
Yes, I'm gonna say maybe 30.
And they were running all over us. I've never seen anything like it. Normally, I don't condone the feeding of animals, and I'm not sure how I truly feel about it. And there was this mother and this little boy, and they gave us some bird seed, and seriously, there was like 5 chipmunks on me at the same time.
Yes, just running all over us looking for food, and it was adorable.
It's crazy. There were like deer 3 feet from us.
Yeah.
Blue jays.
It was just fun. And I guess they feed them year round.
They actually sell the bird seed in the general store.
Yeah, so worth the trip. Bring your own birdseed.
Yes, also, little tiny tip. We got a recommendation also to go up Tin Cup Pass, and we were pooping our pants the entire time. I don't want to sugarcoat it. It was like 4-wheeling to the max. Like, I'm pretty sure we hit a rock in the back of the car. We hit rocks on the underneath of the car. She's sitting there cussing in the car. We're just like, oh my gosh, we're gonna die. Or like, who's gonna die first, us or the car? Like,
well, and we would have been fine in the truck, but we were in the RAV4. And, you know, I thought the RAV4 could do it, but the little ravioli just could not.
Yeah, if you don't know, our RAV4 is named the Ravioli. And our massive Ford F-350 truck that pulls the fifth wheel is called Tinky Winky, named after the Teletubbies.
Yes. And our fifth wheel's named Dipsy because we were trying to figure out the weirdest names. And we just got on the Teletubbies and just started laughing and just said we had to do it. So Dipsy and Tinky Winky.
So we started coming back. And again, this drive is just stunning.
Oh, it's fantastic.
We had all the windows down. We were playing some music. We were just watching all these waterfalls. We were taking pictures. It was absolutely gorgeous. And then on the way back, she said, oh, I want a pizza. So we stopped at Godfather's Pizza, which...
I haven't had Godfather since I was a kid, so I don't know if any of y'all have had it, but it was wonderful. Very nostalgic.
Very nostalgic. And we were just chilling, eating
yeah.
pizza, just not a care in the world. It was great. And then we got out of the little pizza place, and we saw this massive plume of smoke.
Originally, I thought it was rain, and because we were at sunset, so everything was just a really pretty hue of pink. And so at first I thought it was rain. But alas.
Yeah, and we just looked at it and we're like, oh my gosh, I think there's a fire. So we went back in and we're like, oh, do you know what's the fire? And she was like, yeah, I think it's pretty close to here. We're just kind of hoping that it gets put out really fast. And then we started going back to where we were. And again, we were in between Twin Lakes and Buena Vista.
Taking pictures of it
Because my grandpa loves pictures of the smoke. And,
he loves fire.
Yeah, so so we were just leisurely going back, and as we started getting closer, we just thought to ourselves,
it's a fire.
There's a fire.
And then it became, oh, it's a fire. Oh, wait, it's a fire.
And then it became, oh my God, it's a fire.
Yeah.
It's fire! And so we got back there, and I'm going to put some of the pictures in the show notes. It was devastating. And I think by the time we got back, it was around 5 p.m. And I think at that point, they don't know what caused it at this point, but it had consumed 160 acres by this time. As of the time of us recording this podcast, I think it's up to over 400, and it's called the Interlaken Fire. But at the time, it was just a little baby forest fire, but still just devastating. We were like, should we leave? Should we not leave? Should we? I don't know. So then we started going around the RV park and asking, what do we do? And they didn't seem too nervous, and it was funny. We were watching it, and they're just talking to me about random things, like, oh, cool fifth wheel, awesome, how do you drive it, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just sitting there sweating. I'm like, should we be running and evacuating? I was like, because it's pretty close. I mean, I can see the red hues of the flames, so it was kind of a funny, weird thing. And then the city that was about 15 minutes away from us was on pre-evacuation, and then it got lifted right as we went to sleep. So we were like, okay, we're fine. I think we'll be okay. I cut a deal with the other RVers, and I said, if you decide to abandon ship in the middle of the night, come pound on our door, and we will abandon ship with you. Go sleep in a Walmart parking lot, because I'm not taking any chances. And we were actually going rafting the next day. So we were just sitting there going, well, we really want to go rafting on the Arkansas. So we went to bed. And then I woke up a couple times in the middle of the night, just checked just to make sure. Nothing, it was fine. And then we woke up the next morning, and neither of us could talk.
Just smoky, eyes watering. My throat felt terrible. It was pretty hazy.
Yeah, there was smoke everywhere. And then the evacuations started coming back, and we started talking to the other guys, and they're like, yeah, does that mean it's shifting? And we're like, we're supposed to go rafting. So then we just decided we just weren't comfortable rafting and leaving the animals.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've got 2 little kitties and a dog that live with us in this adventure, and we couldn't leave them, because what if we were going to get evacuated? It was just too much. So panic, calling people, calling the rafting company. We don't know where to go. Luckily, we were leaving the next day, so you called the campsite that we were going to, and just...
Yes, and she was wonderful. She said, I don't care if we have a spot or not, just come.
Just get out of there. So we were kind of just leisurely, packing up, and then all of a sudden our phones start blaring. And it's like, get out of there. We evacuated.
Packed up really fast.
Quickly from there.
And made some very preventable mistakes.
Because,
we are owning all
tired.
of these. We're tired, and we're stressed, and we're bummed about not being able to go rafting. And we loved the place we were staying.
Yeah, we didn't want to leave. And also, it's hard to see forest fires. I mean, forest fires are just devastating.
Yeah.
I don't think the historical district is at risk now. So hopefully that continues. But it's just so many lives of people and firefighters in the U.S. Forest Service. So it was just a lot. It was a lot packing up, there. I was very grateful that we could just roll out, but my hearts go out to anybody who is permanently living there.
Yeah, because I guess Twins Lake is beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of locals were just very, very sad about that.
Yeah, it's devastating. So, yeah, so we started making some very silly mistakes. As I said, we're very exhausted. We're, devastated about this. And the first mistake that we made was we started driving. It is the joke that she goes forwards, I go backwards. So she always drives it, and then I back it into the things. So I'm sitting there with all the pets in the ravioli, and I'm baking. Like, our AC has been wonky, and it's June in the mountains, and I'm gonna pass out. Like, I was considering talking to her and being like, I feel lightheaded. Like, I just feel like I'm baking at a convection oven. And then all of a sudden, right when we got to our destination,
an hour and a half later,
I realized that I just didn't push the AC button.
Oh, yeah.
So I was
You're
baking,
smart.
And I can't even blame anyone else. That was completely and totally my fault.
Oh, yeah. And so my big mistake was we drained before we left. And then...
For those of you who, aren't active RVers, one of the less glamorized versions of it is you have to drain your own sewer, which you can just use your imagination on how fun that is.
And smelly. So we drained, we're ready to go, and we have 2 sets because we have 2 sewer lines. And so I had closed the one sewer line, but I'd left the other one open. I don't know why, but I left it open and then drove for an hour and a half.
Because we were escaping a forest fire. That's why you left it open.
Well, and we think there's a clog in there from soap, but that's another story. And so it just kept draining and draining and draining into that pipe while we're driving. And so when I go to unhook the sewer line and hook it back up to where we are staying now, it was just a poo explosion. I just stood there. I had no words.
Got covered
and nobody to
in
blame.
poop.
Yes. It was awesome. So happy. And I'm so, yeah.
I hear this mortified scream from inside of the RV because I'm unloading the interior while she's just setting up the sewer. And I just hear this blood curdling. And I was like, oh my gosh, did she fall? And I come outside and she is just covered in poo water. That's so gross.
And so we get, cleaned up from that. And
we did figure it out, but it was a lot of cleanup. And by the time we were done, and there's no showers here at the campsite that we're at. And we don't really like using the shower in our RV, but I mean, we definitely gave it a go.
Oh, yeah.
But we were absolutely disgusting by the time that was over.
Oh, yeah. Smelly girls.
So we decided that we needed to go into town, which was Cripple Creek.
Which
Colorado,
is fantastic.
Which is so quirky. Can we just talk about Cripple Creek for a second?
Oh, Cripple Creek is great.
I was not prepared for Cripple Creek. It was like Vegas had like a really weird looking baby with a Colorado mountain town.
And the Old West.
And the Old West just sprinkled in there. Seriously, it looks like an Old West town. It looks like something that should be, again, St. Elmo, that ghost town. It looks like St. Elmo. Except there's just casinos everywhere and cheap drinks. It's so funny. It's crazy to me. So we went to dinner. We got like some Long Island iced teas for like $2 a piece. We were loving life. We spent a grand total of $8 at a slots machine because we hate gambling, but we just had to do it for just for the experience. And we came back and
I realized that during the entire time that we were having dinner, I had left the car running. Just running. Doors open, running.
I don't know. It might have been locked.
I don't think it was because the car doesn't lock if it's running.
I think it does. Maybe it doesn't.
We have to check. But yeah, I left it running because I'm a dork.
And we went home and went to bed.
No, we went home and I opened the fridge. And while traveling, another travel tip, do not leave any hot pot fondue liquid.
We just had like some sauce that we would dip things. We're really big fans of hot pot. Ever since I traveled to Mongolia and China, I've just been obsessed with hot pot. And I have this little sauce concoction that I make. So we started doing it ourselves because it's like this really healthy Chinese fondue. And I just set it in the fridge and it was fine when we left.
Until we drove an hour and a half, and then I opened the fridge.
Top came off.
Oh, it was cling wrap. Of course it's going to come off. But there was hot pot everywhere. Everywhere.
I think how many times did we change clothes because we were dirty?
Oh, like 4 times that day.
And again, we had showered that day, and
Yeah.
we can't shower technically again for another 10 days.
Oh, yes. We're going to have to break out the brand new showers. Anyway, so that was fun. So we decided that we are not really on our game when we get frazzled trying to evacuate.
I don't think it was that. It was just so much. And for those of you who are like, oh, I can pack up my RV in like 10 minutes. Okay, that is not us. You are not talking to people who can pack up within 10 minutes. We live full time in this thing, and we like our decorations. We like...
and we like to clean as we...
Yeah, and we like to clean, too. So we will clean this whole thing and pack up at the same time. So it takes so long for us to get packed. And this is a massive rig. Dipsy is a massive home. And again, we are not roughing it. We are RVing in luxury here. So it was stressful. And it was, just getting evacuated is our first time ever dealing with something like that. And it was just hot. And there was just a lot to do, and trying to figure out where we were gonna go, and we were just tired. And I was also up multiple times during the night previously, just making sure that we weren't gonna get evacuated. Yeah, it was just a very interesting RV experience.
Yeah, and so right after this I am going to take down 50 refrigerator magnets and wash the hot pot off of them.
We are just living in the lap of luxury. But at the same time,
yeah,
as I'm filming this podcast, I'm looking at a stunning mountain view. So we really can't complain about this lifestyle.
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying we're idiots. So
just saying we're idiots, and forest fires are dumb.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So there you go.
There you go.
We have spoken.
What do you think of our stories? Do we have any full-time RVers out there? Would you want to full-time RV? Would stuff like this maybe put you on edge? Or would you just like to come to Cripple Creek or Buena Vista? Buena Vista or...
Buena Vista. Puny Beauty is what they said.
I think you're crazy. I think you're nuts. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Ticket Before You Kick It, where we share hilarious travel stories and bucket list adventures. If you did like this episode, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform, and also check out the show notes on thebucketlistmermaid.com. If you do have any of your own adventures, you can reach out to me on social media at thebucketlistmermaid, and we will see you next time. Keep adventuring.